Usually when I spend money, I instantly regret it. Like last week we went out for burgers and spent $70, and one of us is only 2 years old. I miss having that $70 because it was only all right, but there's a few things that I've bought for my home that I don't regret at all, and I would instantly spend the money again. I'm a realtor, so I can usually justify home expenses because I'm like, oh, you're forcing appreciation and it's a good investment. I don't know if that's true for all of these things, but we're gonna go through a list here of everything that I've bought for my house that I do not regret. And I'm gonna try and go from least expensive to most expensive, from $20 to $20,000. Smart home components are individually fairly small investments, and I didn't go too overboard, so I really love the value of the things that I did. Swapping out my doorknobs for keypads was one of the better ideas that I've had. This one on the garage was like $15, but it's super nice for bringing the bikes in and out without having to go around, in and out, hit the button, or carry the remote with me, because I instantly lost the remote when we moved into this house. I don't carry any keys with me anymore, and I absolutely love it. I got a keypad deadbolt for the front door here. It was about $75, and I actually have another one downstairs, door on the basement that just locks the handle itself, so there's no deadbolt there at all. I can give out the code to like friends or family. I think most people already know the benefits of a video doorbell. I have a Ring here. You get the security of recording people who come up to your front door. You can remotely look up who's there when they ring it. Mostly I wanted it so that when I'm like in the backyard or in the basement, I can actually hear the doorbell or get a notification on my phone. I would think that this is kind of a necessity for those of you living in 3-story townhouses. Now, I had a bit of a conundrum when we first moved in. I want to be able to walk through the front door and just hit a light switch so that, the room is not dark and it's, welcoming and homey. But there's no wire running from these switches here to the living room. So what I did was I just ripped out, there used to only be 2 gangs here, and I expanded it, added another spot, and put a Wi-Fi enabled switch. Then I went a little bit crazy and replaced all of the light bulbs that we have with these smart bulbs and programmed them so that they work with the switch. And there we go. I got full control from one switch. So now everything in the living room and the kitchen is on these Wi-Fi enabled switches, and at bedtime I can just go and hit one button on the app and turns everything off, and I absolutely love it. Now, a pressure washer might seem like kind of an odd thing to love, but it is incredibly satisfying to use. Now, owning a home is a ton of work, and I feel like this does get downplayed quite a bit. Now, you could spend all of your money hiring everything out, but I don't want to do that. So instead I spend like all of my time doing a ton of maintenance, and thus the pressure washer. I've always wanted a pressure washer, but I've been kind of intimidated by storing and maintaining just another big machine. But then I found this one, and it's so cool. I mean, look at this. It's smaller than a suitcase. Everything is stored inside, and it just plugs into a hose and an extension cord. I've used big, powerful pressure washers, and this is not that, but I also don't need a big, powerful pressure washer. I just want to be able to clean off my patio and make it not dangerous and slippery from winter moss. I spilled some paint as I was renovating my shed, and I'm gonna see if I can get it off. I set up an irrigation system this year because I got tired of spending so much time watering everything by hand. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my alone time watering in the morning or the evening, but I planted this strawberry patch here, we have some blueberries, it's a fairly extensive yard, and it takes a lot of time, and whenever I go out of town in the summer, I worry about my plans. I have a battery operated timer here that kicks on at 8 o'clock every morning for 20 minutes. It sends water through this tap line here, and I've buried everything with some mulch, but I have these drip lines running throughout the place, branching off of this main tap line. It wouldn't have even been that expensive to put this whole thing together, but I really struggled with it. I bought a lot of the wrong parts, they broke, I waited too long to return them. Anyways, I have to add a new branch right here because I planted a bunch of flowers and I want them to be irrigated. Let me show you how it goes together. I ran out of drip line, so here's another 100-foot loop that cost me $30. I'm just digging up the tap line, which is covered because it's ugly. You can cut this stuff with garden shears and push in a fitting to create a T. It helps to warm it up with hot water and make it more pliable. I'm hoping to put a bush back here, maybe a small maple, something to cover the wall and the fence and create more greenery. This is my halfway finished playground that I'm building from free material off of Facebook Marketplace. I love the irrigation system. I actually don't know how much I spent on it because I didn't keep very good records. It's probably about $500, but could have been done much cheaper if I was more efficient. Here's everything that I do regret buying. All those little parts that ended up being unnecessary or didn't fit because I didn't spend the time to watch a couple videos about how to put together an irrigation system. I think these frame TVs are just so cool. I mean, TVs in general are usually pretty ugly. Look at these ones and how they just ruin the living room. So I tore apart our fireplace that was falling apart anyways. I built a wall around it with a bookshelf to hold all of the power cords, made a fun curved wall, and installed an electric fireplace and a frame TV. When we get new floors, I'll fix where the hearth used to be. I think it turned out pretty cool, and I put one of those like traditional art lights above the TV to really complete the look, and it's not as much of an eyesore anymore. One could even possibly say that it looks kind of stylish. Now these are expensive TVs for sure. I think I spent like $1,200 on mine. I did buy it used, the 55-inch, but you know, it looks so much better, especially being like right in the middle of the living room. I wanted something kind of attractive. It's also really easy to like run the power cords and everything through the wall. I hid it in the bookcase. I think they tell you not to do that, but I did it anyways. I was house hunting with a client just last week, and he said that when he buys a house, he wants to treat himself, and he's been waiting for a house to do this with a frame TV, and I really like that idea. And lastly, these Minisplits are definitely the biggest investment that we've done to our house, and it's a big investment. Our 3-bedroom house cost $28,000 to put 5 head units and 2 exterior condensers. That's absurd, and we got quotes for up to like $40K. So what are Minisplits and why are they so expensive? I don't know why they're so expensive. In Seattle, I think it comes down to supply chain issues and a lack of labor, but this is cool technology. They're more like refrigerators than furnaces, actually. There's no heating element or combustion. It's clean and quiet and efficient, and I love it. It's pretty cool putting these things into older homes, and kind of why I could, sort of in a roundabout way, justify the cost. We were able to get rid of the natural gas furnace that was right here. It was banging a lot. It was kind of expensive to run. Natural gas is dirty. And then we gained some square footage down here in the basement utility room. We were able to get rid of some of the ductwork that was impairing head height. And I always say adding square footage in a home is the best return on investment that you can make. We'll eventually build out this space to make a really sweet laundry room. You can't program these units, which is a little bit annoying, but I've also heard that the most efficient way to run them is to just keep one temperature 24/7. Now, even with the best of installers, you do kind of have to hold their hand. I think this is true of most contractors. We almost had ugly pipes running across the entire front of our house, but I pushed them to hide them in a closet instead. And that's it. Each of these have made a pretty positive impact on our daily lives, and except for the Minisplits, they were relatively affordable. Hopefully that inspires you to improve your space, and if you're looking to make a home in Seattle, send me a message. Let's work together. Bye.